Good morning, everybody. It is just gone 9 o'clock on Monday, the 13th of June, and I'm Claire Jones from Your One Life Healthy Weight Solutions, here for Monday Morning Matters episode 10, which is all about the trouble with meal plans. Now, I just want to start off by saying, not everybody has trouble with meal plans. And if you don't have trouble with meal plans, that's great, But this is really for those who do, because this is something that I hear so much with people responding to my surveys or inquiries and things like that, where they say, I can't follow meal plans, or I'm too lazy to follow the meal plan, or I don't understand the meal plan. So this is really to address those sorts of issues. If you are watching live, it would be lovely if you could say hello, so that I know that you're here, and also so that it helps other people to know that I've gone live. So do put a little comment if you can. Morning, Lucy. And obviously, as I go through, if you do have any comments on anything, sometimes they pop up and show me, and sometimes they don't. So it's all a bit unpredictable. If I don't address your comment at the time, then I will obviously address it in the comments afterwards, so don't worry about that. So lovely if you're able to join me live, and if you're watching on replay, do say #replay in the comments. That'd be great, and then I can see who's been watching, and obviously if you've got any questions, I can obviously support you with them. So thank you, Lucy. Lots of likes and loves coming in, love it. Thank you. So this is all about the trouble with meal plans and what you can do about it, really, because and this is a very personal thing. So I'm going to share with you some of the trouble that I've had in terms of. I'm going to give you a confession here. I have never in my entire life ever been able to follow a meal plan for more than maybe a few days, unless it's been a complete meal replacement, because that takes all the decision making out of it. And meal replacement programs can be very, very helpful for people at certain times, and there's a lot of evidence to suggest that meal replacement programs can be very, very helpful, and indeed I've had success with them in the past. And obviously it takes all of the guesswork and the decision making out of it, and it can be very, very helpful for people when you think, well, what's the alternative? If the alternative is to carry on with doing what you're doing, then obviously they can be extremely helpful. So that I'm not here to talk about that today. That's probably a topic for another day. But just to say, that is the only time I've ever been able to follow a meal plan, because for me, meal planning is too complicated. I am not the world's best cook, and when I've been on weight loss programs in the past, usually through difficult times, because let's face it, real life. There is never a space in real life where nothing's going on. There's always going to be stuff that we've got to be prepared for. And with meal plans, it can really be quite difficult to be flexible. So for me, what I have always found in the past is that I'll have the meal plan and then I just don't follow it. And I will come up with every reason under the sun why I can't follow it, because it's just not right for my personality. It's not right for my preferences, and I think it's the same for a lot of people. And if this is the same for you, please let me know, because obviously I want to be able to support you with this, because you get your list of your shopping list, so you've got to go out and buy all the stuff that's on the shopping list, which can end up being really expensive. You're following somebody else's idea of what you should eat, and some of that is going to be stuff you like, some of it's going to be stuff you don't. So I've gone through these meal plans and I've been looking and going, yeah, I don't like that, don't like that, don't like that, not going to do that, what can I have instead? And then it just all gets really complicated, and then you've got to plan ahead for, oh, hang on, someone's birthday coming up on that day, and we're going out for a meal at the weekend, and it for me, it's unrealistic. And I'm all about being realistic, as hopefully you know by now, is that, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. If it requires you to completely change everything you're doing, the reality is that you're unlikely to stick to it. So for me, that's where the meal plans are not helpful. Yes, it's great, you say, oh yeah, all I've got to do is follow this plan and it'll be great. But I just don't follow them. I just don't, and I know that now. I know that about myself. That if you try and fit me into a hole, a square hole, it's like fitting a round peg. Was it a round peg in a square hole? Oh, I don't know. You know what I mean? But it's just not right for me. So how have I managed to overcome this? And this is what I want to kind of share with you. Is what I've done. Obviously, I have followed meal replacement programs in the past, which at times have been very helpful. As long as I've been in a place, a frame of mind that I can focus on it properly. So that's really important. But, if you're not in that frame of mind where you can focus on it properly, but if you want to be able to obviously lose weight and improve your diet, improve what you're eating, then what I tend to do in the past is look at, where am I at now? How am I currently eating? And how can I just make that a bit better? Because again, another problem with meal plans is that we're in this situation, right? We're following this meal plan and everything's got to be perfect. And then as soon as it's not, that's it. Oh, we may as well not bother. And then you get the takeaway, and then you end up going down the road that you don't want to go down, because we're trying to change everything at once. And the more things we try and change at the same time, the harder it is to stick to, because we're going against everything that feels normal and comfortable. And there are a lot of reasons for this, and I can't go into them in 10-minute live, but obviously I do go into them on my programme, and when people work with me, we cover all of this in terms of, what are the reasons why we find this so difficult. But the bottom line is, if we try and change everything all at once, we may have short-term success and we may be able to stick to it in the short term, but we're really only sticking a sticking plaster over the problem. We're not actually really addressing anything. So it's all too easy to just fall back into our old ways. So my advice would be is to think about, where are you now, and take a good hard look at your normal weekly food intake, and also what you do when there are things that are unexpected. So what's your normal go-to actions in that situation, whether that be going out for a meal or getting the takeaway or whatever. Because what is important to remember is that when it comes to losing weight, we're bombarded with, you've got to eat healthily, you've got to do this, you've got to do all these exercise, blah, blah, blah. And that's great. But again, it's an ideal. And, if we're in this situation where we're either following the plan or we're going off the rails and there's nothing in between, then we're always going to be in the situation where we're beating ourselves up. Whereas if we think, actually, okay, so there's healthy eating over here and, being perfect over here, and then there's being, completely off the rails at the other end of the extreme. Where are you now on that continuum, and how can you just move yourself a little bit further forward? So think about, what are you doing at the moment and how can you improve on that based on what you like to eat. So what are the food choices that you're making at the moment? Because at the end of the day, we do what we want. So the food choices that you'll be making at the moment, especially the ones where you're perhaps not following any kind of plan, are the way that you currently like to eat. So we need to start with that. We need to start with that and start looking at, how do we make that better? How do we make that more in line with your goals? So it may be that you're eating all the right stuff, you're just eating too much of it, in which case it may be looking at, can you reduce your portion sizes? It may be that, you're adding a lot of oils and sauces and things that, if you cut them out, you can easily save quite a lot of calories. It may be that, you're choosing the highest fat versions of something, and maybe you can tweak that by going slightly lower fat. Now, I'm not going to say fat-free, because we need fat in our diets, and actually I'm going to digress slightly, but last night I ordered some new yogurts that arrived in my shopping last night. It was 55 calories a pop, fat-free. And I started eating it and it was, oh my God, this is disgusting. I really didn't like it because it just tasted so artificial. I'd much rather have the real thing and less of it than something that's been really processed by removing the nutrition that we need. So something to bear in mind when you're making choices. So yeah, so you know, if you're using, maybe if you're cooking with mince and you're cooking with 10% fat, then maybe cook with 5% fat mince, or you know, that's just one example. I haven't really got time to go into lots now because I've got to go into my accountability club in a moment and do their live session. So yeah, so start with where you're at. Look at what you're currently doing. Be honest with yourself. Write it all down. You know, you don't need to track the calories, but just write down what you're currently doing, because in doing so, you'll be able to face up to what's really going on and where the extra weight is coming from, or where the extra food is coming from that you're not actually you know, losing at the moment because there's too many calories coming in. Calorie counting does come into it if you want to, but really just start paying attention to how much you're currently eating and what small tweaks you can make to your current intake. And then you can start constructing your own meal plan that's right for you, not that's right for somebody else, and gradually make changes to it that are going to be healthier. So you don't have to like rip everything up and start with this brand new life on Monday morning, because you won't stick at it. You won't, you know, unless you've got everything else in place that to make it work, and you really like the stuff that you're doing, that it feels familiar and it feels comfortable. Because if it feels unfamiliar and it feels uncomfortable, and you've got loads of other pressures going on in your life that need your attention, you're not going to be able to put your attention onto your weight loss. So make it easier for yourself by just looking at what you're currently doing and how you can start to tweak that. And this is what I help people with. So have a look at that and see how you get on. Let me know. Maybe try it this week and see what happens just by looking at what you're currently doing and making it a little bit better than it is at the moment. And then obviously if you find that you're still not getting the results, then maybe we need to make a few more changes, but do it in a way that is realistic for you, using food that you like to eat. And you know, there is nothing wrong with the odd ready meal, okay? You know, people say ready meals are bad, but if the alternative is that you're going to go and get a takeaway with all the trimmings, then eat the ready meal. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? So be kind to yourself, forgive yourself in the choices that you're making. And also another thing that's really, really important is about educating yourself about what you're eating, so that you can really be clear about the decisions you're making, so that you're not relying on somebody else telling you what to do. Lucy, so I'm just reading your comments. You're finding the programme incredibly useful, only on session 2, but feel so much more confident. Oh, that's wonderful. Sorry, I can't see all of the comment. I can only see the first bit, but I will address that in the comments. And having a couple of lower calorie, healthy ready meals in the freezer. Absolutely. I've always got them as an emergency. So if I'm caught short and I haven't got time to cook, I can literally bung something in the microwave for 5 minutes, add some of the steamed vegetable packets that you can get as well, so that I'm not gonna call in the takeaway. So it's all about what's the better choice that you can make. It doesn't have to be perfect. All right, I'm going to leave it there because I've got to rush into my other group now. But have a great week. Let me know if that was helpful, and if you've got any questions about it, give me a shout, and I will see you next Monday for episode 11. I can't believe we're all doing double figures. It's amazing. So see you soon. Take care. Bye.